Welcome back, Heartland fans. Imagine for a moment, it's not a ghost, not a dream, but a voice from the past. A final message from the man whose absence left a permanent scar on Heartland, waiting to be heard. What if Ty Borden, before he was taken from them, left something behind? A secret message, a final goodbye that no one ever knew existed. Today, we're exploring the whisper that's giving the Heartland fandom a new kind of hope. Is a lost message from Ty Borden about to be discovered in Season 19? The soul of Heartland has always been woven from threads of love, resilience, and healing, but the loss of Ty Borden was a tear in that fabric so deep, many wondered if it could ever be mended. Ty wasn't just a character, he was the prodigal son of the ranch, the steady hand, the other half of a love story that defined a generation of viewers. His romance with Amy was the series' beating heart, making it more than just a show about horses. When Ty died, a silence fell over the ranch, and in the homes of fans who had watched him grow. Some felt the loss so personally they couldn't bring themselves to watch anymore. But now, a new rumor is quietly spreading online, not of a miraculous return from the dead, but something more intimate, more possible. Could there be one last message from Ty waiting to be found in Season 19? The idea feels both heartbreaking and incredibly powerful. Fans are buzzing on social media, dissecting every frame and interview for a sign. They're not looking for a ghost in the background, but for a clue, a hint that a long-lost piece of Ty is about to resurface. Imagine Amy, sorting through an old forgotten chest in the loft of the barn, her hands brushing against a worn leather-bound journal she's never seen before. She opens it, and there it is, Ty's familiar handwriting, a story he never got to tell. The shock, the flood of memories, the tears of both sorrow and gratitude. It would be one of the most profoundly emotional moments in the show's entire run. It's a rumor that could draw back even those who felt they had said their final goodbyes. Because this isn't about reversing death, it's about the enduring power of love, and the promise that those we lose are never truly gone. This exploration isn't about false hope, but about why this particular rumor resonates so deeply with everyone who loves the show. Why does the idea of a final message from Ty mean so much? And what does it say about the legacy he left behind? And most importantly, how would Amy react to hearing his voice one last time, in words he wrote just for her? In the moments to come, we'll delve into Ty's journey, examine the origins of this rumor, and consider what it could truly mean for the future of the Fleming-Borden family. But first, just consider the weight of this possibility. Season 19 could deliver a chapter that doesn't change the past, but deepens it in ways we never imagined. And if Ty's final words are truly out there, Amy's reaction won't just move you, it will reaffirm why we all fell in love with Heartland from the very beginning. Stay with us as we uncover the heart of this poignant rumor, because sometimes the most powerful stories aren't about coming back to life, but about making sure a legacy lives on forever. To understand why a final message from Ty Borden would be so monumental, we have to remember the journey that made him unforgettable. To feel the true gravity of this rumor, let's revisit the day a troubled kid on probation first set foot on Heartland soil. It all started with a young man shrouded in anger, arriving at the one place that would ultimately save him. Ty Borden wasn't a hero when he drove up to that ranch. He was defensive, lost, and burdened by a past he couldn't escape. But Heartland, with its open spaces and its demanding horses, began to work its quiet magic. And so did the people there, especially Amy Fleming, who saw a kindness in Ty he couldn't see in himself. Slowly but surely, he began to believe her. Ty's path was never a straight line. It was filled with conflict, doubt, and moments where he nearly walked away for good. But every stumble was a lesson, every step forward a move toward the man he was meant to become. We watched the guarded boy in the leather jacket transform into a husband, a father, and a man who would do anything to protect his family. Through every trial, one constant remained, his profound love for Amy. It wasn't a simple fairy tale romance, it was real, tested by fire and strengthened by time. Their story became a beacon of hope for viewers, proving that healing is possible and that love can endure the harshest storms. When Ty and Amy finally said their vows, it was a promise fulfilled, a destination reached. They started a family, brought their daughter Lindy into the world, and prepared to face whatever came next, together. For so many, Ty wasn't just Amy's husband, he was living proof that a difficult past doesn't have to define your future. Then came the tragedy no one saw coming, a sudden cruel twist of fate that left Amy, and everyone watching, shattered. Ty's death was quiet and devastatingly final, and the pain it left behind was immense. His absence created a void at the heart of the ranch that seemed impossible to fill. Fans felt this loss acutely because Ty's journey had become a part of their own, and yet his spirit lingered. It was in every hard decision Amy had to make, in the stories she told Lindy, in the silent moments by the creek, where it felt like he was just out of sight. That's why the rumor of a final message is so potent. It isn't about undoing his death. It's about adding one final beautiful chapter to his life. It's about the hope that maybe, just maybe, he had one last thing to say. As we go on, we'll investigate where this rumor started, why fans are so hopeful, and if there's any substance to the whispers. But first, let's remember what made Ty's story so special. A journey from a troubled past to a future full of love, and a bond with Amy that was strong enough to transcend even death itself. But where did this unique and heartbreaking rumor come from? Who first suggested that Ty might have left a final, undiscovered message? Let's follow the trail of whispers and digital breadcrumbs that ignited a new wave of hope across the Heartland community. It started not with a bang, but with a quiet observation. A dedicated fan was re-watching old episodes and posted a theory on a forum. They noted how Ty, in his final seasons, often took moments for quiet reflection, sometimes jotting things down. The post asked, what if he was writing more than just vet notes? Soon after, a screenshot from a crew member's social media post began circulating. In the background of a shot of the Heartland set, partially hidden behind some props in the barn loft, was an old wooden box that fans had never seen before. It was just a box, but it was enough to fuel speculation. Could that be where Ty's personal effects were stored? On platforms like TikTok and Instagram, the theory evolved. Fans started creating edits, weaving together scenes of Ty writing with shots of the mysterious box. The narrative began to form. What if Ty, knowing the dangers of his work, had been keeping a journal or writing letters for Amy and Lindy, just in case? The idea felt so true to his character, always trying to protect his family, even from a future he might not be in. Then came a more tangible clue. In a podcast interview, one of the show's writers was asked about how they continue to honor Ty's memory in the storyline. The writer mentioned that Ty's legacy is in more than just memories. It's baked into the very foundation of the ranch. That one sentence, more than just memories, was all fans needed. They took it as confirmation. The theories became more specific. Some believed it was a single letter, meant for Amy to find on a future anniversary. Others imagined a journal filled with his thoughts, his hopes for Lindy, and his unwavering love for Amy. A few even speculated it was a video message he recorded. Each theory was layered with a bittersweet hope, a desire not to see Ty alive, but to hear from him one last time. The showrunners, as usual, remained tight-lipped. When asked directly about the rumor in a fan Q&A, they offered a typically vague but intriguing response. The stories of the past always find a way to speak to the present. For fans, this was practically a yes. It wasn't just about a plot device. It was about what a final message would represent. For years, Heartland has been a story about healing. Ty's death was the show's deepest wound. A message from him wouldn't erase the scar, but it could be a soothing balm, a final piece of closure. Deep down, everyone knows this could just be wishful thinking. But even if it's not a season-long arc, the possibility of Amy finding a single forgotten note tucked away in a book would mean the world. In the next part, we'll explore the narrative possibilities. Could the writers realistically introduce a message from the past? And how would they do it in a way that feels true to the grounded emotional core of Heartland? Let's look at the evidence and the heart of the story. A rumor is one thing, but could the Heartland writers really introduce a lost message from Ty Borden? Let's examine the show's storytelling style and the real-world factors to see what's truly possible. Heartland has always set itself apart by being grounded in realism. It avoids sensational plot twists and focuses on the authentic emotional journeys of its characters. That's why Ty's death was so impactful. It was sudden, senseless, and tragically real, like losses we face in our own lives. Reversing it would betray that trust, but introducing a message left behind, that fits perfectly. It doesn't alter the past, it enriches it. One of the most likely ways this could unfold is through the discovery of a journal. We saw Ty write before. It's plausible he kept a private journal to process his thoughts, especially after becoming a father. Amy, or perhaps even a curious Lindy, could stumble upon it while cleaning out the loft, or an old trunk. Reading his words would be like having conversations with him across time, offering new insights into the man he was. Another deeply emotional possibility is a series of letters. Ty could have written letters for future milestones. Lindy's first day of school, her 16th birthday, Amy's 50th. This would be a heart-wrenching and beautiful way for his presence to be felt for years to come, allowing him to offer guidance and love long after he's gone. It's a classic poignant trope that Heartland could execute with breathtaking sincerity, or it could be something simpler, a single unsent letter tucked inside his favorite book, found by chance, a note scrawled on the back of a photograph. This kind of discovery wouldn't require a complex backstory. It would be a quiet, intimate moment just for Amy, a small gift from the past that provides immense comfort. Then there's the real-world perspective. Graham Wardle made a conscious decision to leave the show to pursue new chapters in his life. While he holds deep affection for his character in the show, a full-time return is not in the cards. However, a storyline centered on his written words wouldn't require his physical presence. Aside from perhaps a voiceover, hearing his voice read the words he wrote would be incredibly powerful for the audience, a way to bring him back for a moment without altering the narrative. The show's creators understand the weight of Ty's character. His death was a deliberate story-defining choice. Any return would have to be handled with immense care to honor that, bringing him back through his own words, rather than a supernatural or unbelievable twist, respects both the characters. A piece of Ty back without undoing the painful but necessary growth that has happened in his absence. This approach would allow us all to see his face in our minds, hear his voice in our hearts, and feel the enduring warmth of his love. As we move to the next part, let's focus on the emotional epicenter of this rumor, Amy's reaction. If she were to find a final message from the love of her life, how would it affect her? And why is that thought so moving to the fans? Let's explore it together. For years, Amy Fleming's journey has been defined by her resilience in the face of unimaginable loss. Ty was more than her husband. He was her partner in every sense, the father of her child, and the one who understood her soul. His death didn't just break her heart, it fundamentally changed her world. We have walked with her through every stage of grief, from the raw, silent pain, to the slow, difficult steps she took to rebuild a life for herself and Lindy. Now picture this. After all this time spent healing and finding a new way forward, Amy discovers a message from Ty. In that one moment, her entire world would pause. Her heart would be a storm of conflicting emotions. The breathtaking joy of hearing from him again, the crushing weight of her loss renewed, and the fear of what his words might say. Would she be able to read it? Would she hide it away, too afraid to open that door to the past? Or would she cling to it, a final piece of him she never knew she had? Amy's life since Ty's death has been a masterclass in carrying grief with grace. She's had to be a pillar of strength for her daughter, for the ranch, and for herself, all while nursing an ache that never truly disappears. Finding a message from Ty would undoubtedly reopen those wounds, but it could also offer a profound sense of closure, a peace she may have thought was forever out of reach. Imagine her face as she reads his name, written in his hand, the trembling fingers tracing the letters, the tears welling in her eyes. The sheer raw honesty of that moment would be a testament to how deeply their love remains etched on her soul. And what would his words do to her? Perhaps he'd tell her it's okay to be happy, to even find love again. Maybe he'd share his hopes for Lindy's future, giving Amy a new roadmap to follow. Or maybe it would just be a simple, beautiful love letter, a reminder of the bond that death could never break. For Amy, finding a message wouldn't just be about looking back, it would be about how to keep moving forward. Armed with his blessing, it could be the very thing that gives her the strength to fully embrace the future, knowing he is at peace, and wants the same for her. For the fans, Amy's reaction is everything. It's not just about the contents of the letter or journal, it's about witnessing the love story that continues to live on. Even with one partner gone, her tears, her bittersweet smile, her whispered replies to the page, these would show us that a great love never truly ends. It transforms. That's the real power of this rumor. It's not about bringing a character back, it's about giving Amy and all of us one more chance to feel the depth of their connection, and to say, I love you, one last time. In that moment, we wouldn't just be watching a television show, we'd be sharing in her grief, her joy, and her undying love. In the next part, we'll explore how Ty's final words could ripple through the entire Heartland family, because his legacy isn't just tied to Amy, it's woven into the very heart of the ranch, and everyone who calls it home. Heartland has always been an ensemble, a story about a family that weathers every storm by leaning on each other. While Ty's bond with Amy was central, he was also a son to Jack, a brother to Lou, and a friend to Tim. A message from him, discovered years later, would send emotional shockwaves through the entire family. Think of Jack, the stoic patriarch, who saw a troubled boy and chose to see a son. Jack mentored Ty, guided him, and loved him as his own. The loss of Ty was a quiet, profound blow to Jack, another deep loss in a long life. To read Ty's final thoughts, perhaps even a direct message of gratitude to him, would be a rare, unguarded moment for Jack. It would likely bring tears to the old cowboy's eyes, reminding him that opening his home and heart all those years ago changed all their lives for the better. Then there's Lou and Lisa. Each carried their own grief for Ty. Lou, ever the practical one, would grapple with the emotional fallout, all while trying to support Amy. Lisa, with her gentle wisdom, would likely see the message as a gift, a final blessing from Ty to his family. And Tim, a man who has known so much loss himself, might see Ty's enduring words as a powerful symbol of the family's ability to heal, and the importance of leaving nothing unsaid. But perhaps the most heart-wrenching impact would be on Lindy, Ty's daughter, who knows her father mostly through photographs and stories. Depending on her age when the message is found, it could be the most tangible connection she has ever had to him. To hear his words, to learn about his love for her and her mother directly from him, would be a life-altering event. For viewers, it would be a beautiful reminder that Ty's legacy is alive and well in his daughter, the next generation of Heartland. Beyond the family, a message from Ty would provide a sense of narrative closure that has been missing. His death was abrupt and real, but it left the characters and the audience with a lingering sense of unfinished business. A final message, a proper goodbye in his own words, could help everyone finally process the loss in a way that feels complete and healing. It wouldn't alter the future of the show, which has carefully navigated Amy's journey forward, while honoring Ty's memory. Instead, it would enrich the story, adding new layers of love and legacy. It would serve as a powerful reminder that the people who shape us are never really gone. Their influence, their love, and their lessons remain. Most importantly, it would bring the show's core themes full circle, that love is stronger than hardship, that family is our anchor, and that hope can be found in the most unexpected places. For longtime fans, it would feel like a return to the show's roots, a reminder of why they started watching all those years ago. Because Heartland isn't just about a ranch, it's about the indelible bonds of love that make it a home. In our final part, we'll address the ultimate question: is this rumor of a lost message just wishful thinking, or should fans genuinely expect to hear from Ty Borden when season 19 arrives? For every Heartland fan, the idea of a final message from Ty is a powerful emotional prospect. It represents a chance to reconnect with the heart of the show, to heal old wounds, and to experience the depth of Amy and Ty's love one last time. But as we look at the evidence and the show's commitment to telling an authentic story, a clearer picture emerges. The creators of Heartland have always respected the reality of life's journey. Ty's death, as painful as it was not a ratings gimmick. It was a reflection of the fact that life is fragile and unpredictable. It forced the characters, and by extension the viewers, to confront grief, to find strength in family, and to learn that a person's legacy is about more than their physical presence. On a practical level, Graham Wardle, the actor who so brilliantly brought Ty to life, made the personal and professional choice to move on from the show. He has expressed immense gratitude for his time on Heartland and the character he embodied, but he has also been clear about his need to pursue a new path. His decision was made with the same integrity that the show itself is written with. Given these facts, the chance of Tai returning from the dead remains virtually zero. It would undermine the very foundation of the story that has been built in the seasons since his departure. It would invalidate the difficult but beautiful journey of healing that Amy and her family have been on. But this doesn't mean we will never hear from Tai again. The rumor of a lost message, a journal, a letter, a final goodbye, is the most likely and most narratively satisfying way for the show to bring his spirit back. This path is gentler, more poignant, and feels true to the soul of Heartland. It wouldn't rewrite the past, it would illuminate it. It would remind Amy and all of us that love doesn't die. It transforms, becoming a part of our story forever. And perhaps that's the real reason this rumor is so meaningful. It's not because fans are desperate for a plot twist, but because it confirms how deeply Ty Borden's character touched our hearts. It proves that after all these years, his presence feels as real and vital as ever, not because of a potential return, but because of the love, hope, and quiet strength he brought to the ranch. So what should fans truly expect from season 19? Not a resurrection, but perhaps, if the writers choose this path, we can expect a moment of pure emotional grace. A glimpse of Ty's soul through his own words, discovered by the woman he loved. And if that moment comes, it won't be for shock value. It will be a gift to the characters and the fans, a quiet and beautiful reminder that even after the hardest goodbyes, love always remains.